I can only give you love that lasts forever.
Take a step back in time to an era when songs with simple melodies were all the rage and crooners were king. It may sound like 1943 or 53, but it's not. It's 2003, and while the songs may be old, the singer certainly isn't. You see, the man behind the mic is a 28-year-old Canadian named Michael Bublé.
For my whole life, I've been living this music, and I've been in love with it and passionate about it, and I studied it every day for as long as I can remember.
Audiences are in love with it too. Here at the world-renowned Montreal Jazz Festival, Bublé is the hottest ticket in town.
When marimba rhythms start to play, dance with me, make me sway. Like a lazy ocean hugs the shore, hold me close, swing more.
I think we all have a natural sort of pulse inside us, and I think that the feeling of that swing, that you either feel it or you don't, and I feel it in a great big way.
Never know how much I love you, never know how much I care. When you put your arms around me, I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever.
In just months, his debut album has gone gold in Canada and from Singapore to South Africa. But it wasn't long ago Bublé was performing in lounges and telethons. In fact, his big break came while working as a wedding singer. But it wasn't just any wedding. Former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney's daughter Caroline was the bride, and among those on the star-studded guest list, none other than legendary producer David Foster.
Brian Mulroney literally took me by the arm and stood me right in front of the stage and said, "Stand here, you're not going to believe what you're about to see." And, you know, it was loud and it was a wedding. You know, he was a wedding singer.
The Canadian producer has worked with some of the biggest names in the business, from Whitney Houston to Barbra Streisand to Celine Dion. But that night, it was the wedding singer that had Foster's attention.
As I was watching, I was thinking, this kid's great looking. He lives this music. He didn't learn this music. He's lived this music.
Fancy gloves though.
Foster knew Bublé was gifted, but how do you turn a wedding singer into a star?
He just kept saying, "I think you're talented, I think you're a nice kid, I think you're a good entertainer, but I don't know what to do with you. I don't know how to sell this stuff."
Put your hand on my shoulder.
If anyone knows how to sell this stuff, it's Foster's close friend, Paul Anka. He first recorded "Put Your Head on My Shoulder" in 1959, and he's been a star ever since. He too was immediately struck with Bublé. Can you zero in on just what it is that attracted people like you and David Foster to Michael Bublé?
He's got a certain kind of tone. You know, those of us in the industry, we call it tone, and he's got that certain thing, and he marries well to his personality, to his look. You know, it's all a packaging item. It's the totality of everything, and all of that chemistry comes together.
We've been talking to a number of people about you. You're surrounded by legends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. That's a strange thing, always. Always a strange. But now, you know, at first it's strange, and then you become friends, and then you forget that they're who they are, and they're just you know, just your friends. You know, it becomes your Uncle Paul.
But they still needed one more industry heavyweight, yet another Canadian.
There's Tom Cock and Red Rider, Backman Turner Overdrive.
We're getting close. Bruce Allen has managed some of the biggest acts in the business. People like Bryan Adams, Anne Murray, and Martina McBride. Bublé had been trying to get Allen to manage his career for years. Allen hadn't been interested.
The only thing I'd seen him in was theater productions and this kind of lounge thing where you're trying to, make everybody dance and have a good time and tell jokes. Well, that's a career, I guess, if you want to work cruise ships and stuff like that, but it's not what I want to do.
But David Foster told Alan he'd come up with a way to transform Bublé from lounge act to legend. His recipe for success had one key ingredient: romance.
David believed, he said, I believe there's a place in the record business for romance. There's no romance in music anymore. But there's a place for that if you get the right record, and Foster made the right record.
Suddenly, Bublé had a music industry dream team few artists can match. But they still had a marketing challenge. CD sales now compete with free internet downloads, and few radio stations play this kind of music.
Every group I've ever worked with, it's always about the radio. And Martina McBride, it's critical in the country business about the radio. Radio is the number one thing.
So it's basically a whole new way to market an artist.
Yeah, radio is not our number one priority.
Radio is all messed up. Buying CDs is all messed up. So what do you have left? Television is the big secret weapon, and this is where somebody like Michael Bublé is really winning.
Every time this guy's mug gets on television, no matter what country it is, sales go through the roof. It's a phenomenon to watch it, because that doesn't happen on rock acts.
Bublé's first major TV score came on The Today Show, just 3 days after his album was released.
See, this is a big moment here. Katie Couric, how many times do you remember Katie Couric dance with anybody? 14 or 15,000 records sold because of this show.
That very day, Bublé saw firsthand the result of his Today Show appearance when he went into a music store.
I walked up to the guy at the counter, and I handed him the record, and he looked at me, and he said, "Is this you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's me." And he said, "It's you?" And I said, "Yeah, it's me." And he said, "It is you." And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, is it selling like this?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he said, "Who the hell are you?" Which is funny. He had no clue. It was like the record dropped out of the sky.
So nobody has to persuade you about the power of television?
Absolutely not, no. It's huge, especially for the kind of music that I'm making.
His velvety voice has been compared to old Blue
More
Eyes.
high-profile TV appearances followed.
Michael Bublé.
Entertainment Tonight,
He's only 25 years old.
Live with Regis and Kelly,
Sunshine and flowers.
Canada AM,
Let's fly away.
That's Michael Bublé.
even Larry King.
If you don't know him, you're going to be hearing a lot about him because
Each
he's
appearance giving a big boost to CD sales.
simply titled Michael Bublé.
You can hide, and I just have one.
But while TV is crucial, it's not the only thing that's driving sales. Bublé has also been performing non-stop, promoting the album.
He's traveling all over the world. People want to see him. People want to touch him. People want to hear him. They want to feel him.
And this night, as most nights, he pays tribute to the biggest musical influence in his life.
I would not even be on this stage nor any other if it weren't for my grandfather.
Let's go back a few years.
Going back a few years, all right.
Mitch Santaga and his wife Yolanda have always been a big influence in their grandson's life. As a young boy in Burnaby, BC, they remember him as a performer from the start.
And he always sang around the house. At Christmas, he would sing Christmas carols before even Christmas, but he was always singing.
By the time Michael was a teen, he and his grandfather would often spend their time together going through Mitch's old record collection.
You know what I like from Tony Bennett? Is I wanna be around. Boom, boom, jack. Pick up the pieces. That's a good record.
And usually, Mitch would ask his grandson with the great voice to learn the lyrics to his favorite songs.
Yeah. He'd ask me to learn them so that we could sit at that table and we could sing for each other.
And I said, this is a song I like. Well, this one, listen to this one. It's got feelings. You try this song and that. And he said, oh, you're too sentimental, Grandpa. You're going to put everybody to sleep.
He would say, oh, please, come on, learn it before Grandpa dies, sunshine. And so I would learn the damn song, and I learned a lot of songs like that.
You never seem to want my romancing. The only time you hold me is when we're dancing. I don't know why I love you like I do. I don't know why, I just do.
Thank you. I just think it's a huge privilege.
Now, Bublé is sharing that style of music with fans his own age.
Especially important to me that I see so many young people in the crowd, and together, you guys, we're keeping this alive.
He's going to be a huge star, and if he plays his cards right, he'll have a wonderful 50-year career.
Can I just have one more moon dance with you, my love?
When will you know you've made it?
I think I did make it. I think I made it the first time I got paid to sing.
The Wedding Singer?
You know what? I got paid to do what I love, and I know that there's a lot of people that would have just died to be in that position.